Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Edward Heim, and in today's video we're going to tackle the almighty subject of oil painting for beginners. I'm going to start a series on oil painting for beginners, and in today's demonstration this is for someone who has never used oil paints and is sitting down for the first time and just wants to start using them and needs a quick little demonstration on what's going on, what to do. This is a very solid primer course. This is definitely going to help out the true beginner. Okay, here we go. So let's get right to the quick demonstration. So again, you're new to oil painting, what's going on? I did a video on supply basics. I recommend you go and check that out. But as a quick refresher, you're going to need paints, a paintbrush, something to clean your paintbrush, a medium and something to paint on, and a palette of some sort, and some paper towels or rags. That's the long and short of it. I paint with a limited palette, which just means I use as few colors as possible. And I mix my own colors and I mix my own paints the best I can. So I'm sticking to primary colors, and I add white paint and a brown paint, which my preferred brown is asphaltum. I've yet to find a better one. That's just my opinion. I highly encourage you to go out and experiment and practice. That's how you learn. That's how I'm doing it. That's the way you should do it. You can watch all the videos in the world, read all the books in the world, but until you actually sit down and do it yourself, it's not gonna click. Okay, so I have my limited colors out. I have a little panel here. This is like a cheap pressboardy, it's panel. These are used, like, you can use it as a palette or just a work surface or something, but they make inexpensive painting panels. They come light brown, kind of like cardboard, and I prime mine with sandable fillable gray automotive spray primer. I go outside in the yard, lay it flat, and I give it a nice thick coat, and I let it dry. If you get a pebbly texture or something, just sand it down on a sanding block with some fine sanding paper, because you're looking for the smoothest surface possible. This is ready to go. Again, another tip there, I highly recommend you paint on panels versus canvas, because the canvas has a texture and a surface to it. If you really scrutinize it, you know, it's going to have like all these micro dips and valleys from the weave of the canvas, where paint is going to, you know, fill in the voids, and you really have to make it very, very thick to get away from the texture that's being imparted by the canvas. So with a smooth surface, that eliminates all that and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so let us continue. So I'm going to use one paintbrush to do this. I'm going to use a Bristle paintbrush. I keep my paintbrushes on a rack next to me because when I'm doing my paintings, I don't like to clean them every single day. I just dip them in a mixture of safflower and clove oil. Keeps the brush heads nice and wet between painting sessions. That gives me a solid week. I could leave a paintbrush and not touch it. This is a number 10 Escoda bristle brush. It is a flat brush. The shape is rectangular, and the bristle brushes are a workhorse brush. They're cheaper, great for sketching and scrubbing. Don't worry about the more expensive paintbrushes. You're learning and you don't want to spend a lot of money, and you want this to work for you. So because this one is exceptionally dirty and muddy and I don't really want to use that for this demonstration, I have a silicoil jar here filled with Gamsol mineral spirits. It's just a very clean, low VOC blend of the mineral spirit. It's better for you, it's better for the environment, it's better for your paintings. Again, Gamblin Gamsol, that's what I recommend. So I'm just running the bristles on the coil, clean the brush. It's exceptionally muddy, and I don't want that being mixed into what I got going on here. I need some more clean paper towel. Okay, that's good enough. Got most of it out. That doesn't really matter all too much. I have some more clean odorless mineral spirits in an eyedropper bottle. So let's get that over here because I'm going to make a little thin color. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to use the asphaltum brown and white paint only, 2 colors. Pick a color that you want and put white paint out. Asphaltum brown and flake white replacement is what I have. It's a weaker white than, say, titanium white, but it doesn't matter. Use whatever you get your hands on first. So I'm just gonna do a spherical shape right here in the middle for this demonstration. So I'm just grabbing some of this mineral spirit and I'm mixing in some asphaltum brown, thin it down, because when you start a painting, it's the initial sketch, the drawing, the placement. So mind you, I encourage you to get an easel when you can, so your panel is straight up and you paint like this. But for the purpose of this demonstration, let's assume you don't have one and you're going to paint flat. So let's begin. So if you go tighter up on a paintbrush, this is more like drawing mechanical, and you go for the painterly effect, holding the back of the brush. You get those more whimsical brush strokes, and you can hold a paintbrush like this. This gives a very creative, very interesting, pattern of brush strokes as you're using it. Again, that's something you're going to experience by your own practice and doing. Anyway, so let's just draw a circle. And I've just chosen to plop it right there. And then let's say, I don't know, there's a table surface, whatever, that's not important. So it's giving us some perspective. And if you mess this up, that's fine. Just grab some odorless mineral spirits on a clean paper towel, wipe this off, and you will be able to just go again. It's really hard to permanently mess up anything. Hopefully that takes some of the anxiety away. So let's say the light is coming from this direction, designated by this arrow. I'm not looking at anything, I'm just making this up. I would recommend you paint from real life, looking at an object and just painting what you're looking at, paint what you see. That is an incredible way to learn. That's how I'm doing it. My painting ability has increased immensely over the past 2 years since I started painting from real life. But that's okay. We're keeping this simple. Don't worry about that now. So, it's basic drawing. It's spherical, right? And what am I doing here? I'm kind of dividing up my sphere into quadrants. I want this to be the lightest point. This will be the darkest point. And then these two will be somewhere in between, medium tones. Okay, again, we're only using brown, we're only using white paint, and I'm using one paintbrush to do it all. Okay, let's assume you only have one paintbrush to do it all. Again, this is a bristle brush, and it happens to be a flat brush, so longer, rectangular brush head shape on the bristles. So with that same dirty brush, I'm going to grab some white. Now that white's really stiff and thick, and I should have put some medium out, but I didn't. That's okay. So my choice of medium is Neo McGilp or Winsor Newton liquid. This makes it dry a little faster, this makes it dry a little slower. Those are my go-tos. I don't use anything else. I had a lot of trouble mixing linseed oil and different medium concoctions and trying to remember the fat over lean rules. It's like, yeah, it's definitely important and you can't ignore it. But at the same time, I really don't want to have to fuss with that. I just want to paint. And using one of those two mediums, they're synthetic fatty acids, which are much more forgiving. You can just keep piling up and layering it with no ill effects that I'm aware of, and I haven't read about anyone having ill effects. Just grab and go and mix a little medium into your paints and just painting. So I put a bit of medium. It's very soft. This is a little reference right there. So this is like blocking in shapes in color. That's all we're doing here. So let's make a mid-tone. Let's grab a little more because I need more paint to do this. I'm just mixing on the paintbrush. You're not going to hurt it. Brush, just following the shape of the sphere, or whatever shape you've made. Okay. Let's go back into asphaltum. Let's grab more of it. So this will be dark. So we're just like loosely drawing and sketching. I'm not thinking too hard about this. I just want you to do it. And I've wiped excess dark brown paint off my brush. And now I'm just coming back in. And I'm doing a little refinement to my shape. Another tip is thick paint sticks better over a thinner paint. So I know this white is thick, and that the underlayer is a little wet. It's okay. Sticks just fine. Same dirty brush. This is an exercise to get you comfortable. Just don't think too hard. Just do it, and it will start coming together. This is to acclimate you with getting the feel for the oil paint, the paint brushes, mixing paint, wiping the brush out, the way it connects to your work surface. So right there we have a shape of a sphere. We got some light coming in, dark, medium tones. It's resting on a surface. So I want to get a little bit of a background. Just adding a little more medium. So I'm going to come onto the other side. Scrub in a little bit of a background, deliberately contrasting. So I got a little this lighter against the dark. I got a little of that here. Okay, and then wipe the brush off, go back into the dark. And then I'm just gonna come back onto this side. Go dark. It's okay. You already know that's the arrow. That was just a reminder which way the light was coming from. A little refinement here, a little blending. Not much. A little bit. Just cleaning up my edges. So I guess you could consider this like weaving in everything, knitting it together into the painting. And again, you can refine this as much as you want. Now that's a very dry brush. Get a sense as to how that feels. There's no wrong way to do this. Just get painting. And so this is just about done. Let's grab a little more dark paint. The sphere is on the table. Just gonna cast a little bit of a shadow. And I've determined that's good enough for the shadow. Again, just a little bit of a refining. Kind of follow the shape, make it look three-dimensional. Give this another quick wipe. Let's come in with a little dark back into this lighter color we had here. Grab a little medium. Mix that up. I'm going to come in here onto this table surface. Again, this is just out of my head. I'm not looking at anything. This is an exercise to get you acclimated to the tools and materials. Everyone knows what a circle looks like. Most people know what a sphere looks like. Yeah, so look at that. That's pretty cool, right? A blank panel with nothing. Just using our imagination here. We got a nice little painting. If you want, you can wipe the brush off. Notice I haven't dipped this paintbrush into my odorless mineral spirits one time since we started putting paint down. So I kind of cleaned the brush before we started because it was already dirty and muddy. And we're painting with only two colors here. Just doing a little bit of refinement here on our sphere. And then I guess to finish up, I'm going to go more into some straight white, thick, heavy, give it a nice fat white highlight. Highlights you want thick and bold, vibrant, more paint. Darks, flat, less paint, softer. Don't pile up the darks if you can help it. It just looks better on a painting. And because your highlight is supposed to be the most intense spot, this is now the focal point. The brightest light, the brightest contrast. Again, just a little more refinement, should you choose to do that. A little too much paint on the brush. Come back. Soften this a little bit. There we go. You did a sphere with two colors. Two colors, one paintbrush, one work surface, one panel. Palette, I use a large custom cut piece of glass as a large palette. Go get yourself an old picture frame. Take it out of the frame, lay it down. Careful, don't break it, don't cut yourself, don't hurt yourself. Use that as a palette. If paint dries, you can use a scraper, scrape it up. You're not gonna hurt it, you'll be good to go. Or you can use disposable palettes, that's fine. Or you wanna tape down a sheet of parchment paper or wax paper, you can use that too. Wrap it up, throw it in the garbage. I hope that's coming through clearly. I want you to do this. I want you to try it. Please ask me any questions. I really hope this helped you. I would love to hear from you. How did this work for you? And it'll be awesome to see your work. By all means, send that to me. I would love to see it. I would love to talk about it. If this video helped you at all, I'd ask that you please subscribe, like, and share. It helps out the channel tremendously, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.